Welcome to the sixth lesson of the course, Cooperative Individualism, the third way to the just society. The title of this lesson is A Quiet Awakening Interest in Thomas Paine's Ideals. Henry George and Thomas Paine were both determined defenders of fundamental human rights. Both attacked privilege in their writings. However, Thomas Paine set himself apart from the overwhelming majority of people of his time and later generations by attacking what he saw as the hypocrisies of organized religion. Those who worked to keep alive the wisdom he conveyed in his writings were for more than a century largely ignored. One admirer of Thomas Paine, Thomas Edison, offered his assessment of the author of Common Sense in 1925. Tom Paine has almost no influence on present-day thinking in the United States because he is unknown to the average citizen. Perhaps I might say right here that this is a national loss and a deplorable lack of understanding concerning the man who first proposed and first wrote those impressive words, the United States of America. But it is hardly strange. Paine's teachings have been debarred from schools everywhere and his views of life misrepresented until his memory is hidden in shadows or he is looked upon as of unsound mind. I consider Paine our greatest political thinker, as we have not advanced, and perhaps never shall advance, beyond the Declaration and Constitution, so Paine has had no successors who extended his principles. Although the present generation knows little of Paine's writings, and although he has almost no influence upon contemporary thought, Americans of the future will justly appraise his work. I am certain of it. Truth is governed by natural laws and cannot be denied. Paine spoke truth with peculiarly clear and forceful ring. Therefore, time must balance the scales. The opinion of Thomas Edison aside, the public memory of Thomas Paine was still such a controversial subject that when the program manager at a radio station in New York City invited a professor at City College to give a talk on Paine in 1933, the invitation was rescinded because Paine was still viewed as, quote, a dangerous subject and not suitable for radio discussion. Ironically, although Thomas Paine believed in the existence of God, memory of his life's work was kept alive by atheists and other free thinkers. Robert Ingersoll heads that list. I challenge the world to show that Thomas Paine ever wrote one line, one word in favor of tyranny, in favor of immorality. One line, one word against what he believed to be for the highest and best interest of mankind. One line, one word against justice, charity, or liberty. And yet he has been pursued as though he had been a fiend from hell. On the 29th of January 1916, over 500 people gathered at the University of Chicago to hear an address on Thomas Paine by John E. Remsburg, President of the American Secular Union. In the popular mind, to utter a word in his behalf has been to apologize for wrong, to declare yourself the enemy of man. The world is not prepared to do him full justice yet. Priestcraft, still powerful, uses all its power to prejudice the public mind against him, and in too many hearts, where love and gratitude should dwell, ingratitude and hatred have their home. The historian Eric Foner observed that many reformers looked upon Paine as an unfortunate forerunner in the causes they embraced. The irony is that Paine's Republican language suffused the culture of 19th century America, but that Paine himself was generally forgotten. Republican and Democratic ideas could be obtained from Jefferson without the added burden of Paine's aggressive anti-clericalism. It was only among those willing to accept him in full, his religious writings as well as political, that Paine remained a hero. Among those not intimidated by the possibility of attack by the mere mention of Thomas Paine was Walt Whitman. On the 28th of January, 1877, he delivered an address on Paine in Philadelphia at a gathering of people celebrating the 140th anniversary of Paine's birth. I dare not say how much of what our Union is owing and enjoying today, its independence, its ardent belief in, and substantial practice of radical human rights, and the severance of its government from all ecclesiastical and superstitious dominion. I dare not say how much of all this is owing to Thomas Paine, but I am inclined to think a good portion of it decidedly is. The leading female personality among freethinkers of the second quarter of the 19th century was Ernestine L. Rose of New York City. At the annual celebration of Thomas Paine's birth, she told an audience, "Thomas Paine has not only labored to throw off political despotism, but also that worst kind of despotism, superstition, under whose oppressive thraldom all other freedom becomes stifled. Yes, he has rung the funeral knell of priestcraft and superstition, the sound of which has been wafted by the genial spirit of freedom to wherever man is to be found. It rings on, and wherever the mind of man is open to the voice of reason, it is heard and understood." Historian Harvey Kay in 2007 compiled just a partial list of those who came to publicly acknowledge a debt to Paine for how they thought about certain issues and policies. Contrary to the ambitions of the governing elites, as well as the presumptions of historians and biographers, Paine remained a powerful presence in American political and intellectual life. Recognizing the persistent and developing contradictions between the nation's ideals and reality, diverse Americans, native-born and immigrant, struggled to defend, extend, and deepen freedom, equality, and democracy. Rebels, reformers, and critics such as Francis Wright, William Lloyd Garrison, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Ernestine Rose, Susan B. Anthony, Walt Whitman, Herman Melville, Abraham Lincoln, Albert Parsons, Mark Twain, Emma Goldman, Eugene Debs, Albert Bingham, Franklin Roosevelt, A.J. Muste, Saul Alinsky, C. Wright Mills, and innumerable others right down to the present generation rediscovered Paine's career and work and drew ideas, inspiration, and encouragement from them. Harvey Kay notes that among those who in the 20th century claimed Paine and Henry George as important intellectual and philosophical inspirations were members of the so-called remnant, the individualistic old right. Of interest in this discussion are those in this group who actually embraced the greater part of the principles of cooperative individualism rather than what became the libertarian strain of individualism. And now we've reached the end of Lesson 6.